Okay, so here it is, one of my new favorite little crankbaits. It's the Strike King 3XD. I consider this a medium diving crankbait. This thing for springtime fishing is phenomenal. I know it's going to be great all year long, but we're talking pre-spawn fishing. This bait right here is something special. One of the things I really like about this bait, there's a lot of good crankbaits out there on the market, but this thing gets down there a lot deeper than most, especially for its size. This thing's a pretty small profile bait, but this 3XD bill on here, real thin bill, dives super deep. This bait on 12-pound line will dive 10 foot on almost any good long cast. What makes a medium diving crankbait so special this time of year? The bass are moving up, they're coming out of deep water, and first thing they're doing, just like when we get up in the morning, we're hungry, and that's what these fish are doing. They're coming to the banks, primarily feeding on crawfish, and as you can see, most of these baits have a crawfish look to them. You know, we got some reds, some greens, some browns, and then, you know, even some bait fish colors, or even the top of it still kind of looks like a crawfish. One of the things I do when these baits are tournament ready, I'm swapping out the factory hooks, and you can see I'm putting, these are little Trocar, these are number 6 EWG Trocar treble hooks. These things are phenomenal. Fish touch these things and they're hooked. I mean, there's Trocar tips on there, they get the job done. Great little pairing for this bait. You know, this time of year, a big thing is looking for those steeper rocky banks. You know, the big thing in the Midwest are channel swing banks, where the old river channel or creek channels swing up to a bank, and you go from flatter banks to where that channel swings along there, gets a little bit steeper. This bait will get up there. The whole key is just keeping that boat positioned to where this bait's just ticking those rocks, and you know, you can get your boat positioned right. You can tick rocks from the bank out to 10, 12, even 14 foot of water. This is the Cast King Speed Demon Pro. I prefer the 7-foot lipless cranking rod. This thing's a little bit heavier. It's got the right tip too for when those fish bite, that I'm not going to jerk that bait away from them, and you know, soft tip, they're not going to pull off. This reel is the Cast King Bassinator. I typically throw the 8-to-1 gear ratio reel on a lot of my baits, but this is where I go to a slower gear ratio. 6:6 is real important, because this little bait creates drag, and as you're cranking that thing down there, a slower gear ratio reel is going to allow that bait to really dig, and you get a lot more feeling out of that bait as well on a slower gear ratio reel. Line is very important. Line is how deep that bait's going to dive. Typically, I'm going to throw it on 12-pound line. It's a nice thin diameter, which is going to allow that bait to get to a maximum depth, but I don't want it too light to where if it's nicking rocks and all that, you're susceptible to break them off. So 12 is a good average. I've actually got 14-pound on here, because where I was fishing, the water's a little bit dirtier, the fish didn't seem to be as deep, and I could get away with a little bit heavier line. So always want to get away with the heaviest line possible, just because it helps you put more in the boat when you have them hooked up. So day in and day out, I really prefer the Palomar knot, just because it's quick and easy, a great strong knot. Another knot that I am playing with a lot is what they call the 3-tag knot, or a double uni knot, but it's basically just 3 tags. It's just this one's a little bit quicker, but a simple Palomar knot is very easy to do. The whole key on a Palomar knot, especially with fluorocarbon line, is you don't just want to cinch it on itself. So just wet it a little bit, and you know, I'm not hurting the line there. So Palomar knot, day in and day out, gets the job done. Great little setup here. Thing to remember, early springtime, colder water till those fish get on the beds. A medium diving crankbait is a great bait to choose from, and one of my favorites is the Strike King 3XD.